There's something different about a Sigma male. He moves in silence, not because he's shy, but because he values peace over attention. He doesn't chase crowds, trends, or validation. His worth doesn't depend on applause. It's rooted in his own quiet confidence. The Sigma male walks a path most people overlook, a path that requires discipline, solitude, and an unshakable sense of self. He's not against the world, but he doesn't belong to it either. He's the man who observes before speaking, who listens before deciding, and who acts with precision rather than impulse. But beneath that calm exterior lies a simple truth. Sigma males have boundaries that are non-negotiable. They may be tolerant, patient, and understanding, but there are certain things they will never allow, no matter who it comes from. Not because they are arrogant, but because they know the cost of compromising their peace. See, when you walk through life with self-respect, you stop explaining your worth. You stop entertaining nonsense. You stop tolerating behavior that pulls you out of alignment with your purpose. And that's where the Sigma mindset becomes powerful. It teaches you that silence can be stronger than confrontation, and walking away can be louder than shouting. Today we'll explore 6 things Sigma males never tolerate. Not out of pride, but out of wisdom. Because every strong man learns that peace, once lost, is hard to regain. And those who guard it fiercely live with quiet freedom. So if you've ever felt misunderstood for choosing solitude over attention or peace over chaos, this one's for you. Let's begin. Number 1, disrespect. A Sigma male's tolerance ends the moment respect disappears. To him, respect isn't a privilege, it's the foundation of every relationship, whether personal or professional. He operates by a silent code of mutual dignity, where both parties value honesty, integrity, and space. When that foundation cracks, he doesn't explode or seek revenge. Instead, he withdraws, quietly and completely. This response may seem cold to outsiders, but it's actually rooted in emotional intelligence. Studies in behavioral psychology suggest that people with strong self-awareness and high emotional regulation, traits Sigma males often display, are less likely to engage in unnecessary conflict. They conserve their energy for growth rather than wasting it on ego battles. The Sigma male understands that arguing with disrespectful people rarely leads to understanding. It only feeds chaos. So, when someone talks down to him, manipulates him, or tries to control him, he recognizes it as a projection of insecurity, not strength. His detachment becomes his armor. This self-respect-driven boundary often intimidates others because it reflects power without aggression, the kind of confidence that doesn't need to shout. In social dynamics, such quiet strength can shift the balance of interaction. According to research on dominance hierarchies, individuals who remain calm under pressure are often perceived as more competent and authoritative. That's why Sigma males rarely need to prove their worth. Their composure speaks louder than any confrontation. When he walks away, it's not out of weakness. It's a statement that his peace is non-negotiable. Over time, people who lose a Sigma's respect often come to realize that silence can be the loudest consequence of all. His quiet exit leaves a void that forces reflection. Because in his world, respect is the currency of connection. And once it's spent carelessly, there's no refund. A man who respects himself never begs others to do the same. He knows that real respect cannot be demanded. It must be earned, nurtured, and reciprocated. The Sigma male's strength lies in this understanding, that dignity is not something you fight for with words, but something you uphold with actions. in a society obsessed with validation and attention. His calm refusal to engage in disrespect makes him stand apart, a reminder that silence, when backed by self-respect, is the most powerful form of response. Number 2, dishonesty. Sigma males live by clarity because, to them, truth is the foundation of peace. Lies, hidden motives, and manipulation don't just irritate them. They cloud their mental landscape, turning a sharp, focused mind into a foggy battlefield. The Sigma thrives in mental stillness, in environments where honesty and transparency allow him to think, act, and grow without distortion. This trait isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about self-preservation. Studies in psychology suggest that deception increases cognitive dissonance, the inner conflict caused when one's beliefs don't align with reality. Sigma males instinctively avoid this dissonance, knowing that dishonesty, whether from others or themselves, disrupts their inner balance and decision-making clarity. They value authenticity even when it's uncomfortable, because truth in its raw form helps them understand people's real intentions. For them, a painful truth is better than a comforting lie, because only the truth can guide their next step with certainty. In relationships, whether personal or professional, honesty acts as a form of loyalty in a Sigma's world. When someone chooses to be truthful, even when it risks tension or conflict, the Sigma sees that as a sign of respect. He believes loyalty isn't proven by words of affection or constant agreement, but by the courage to be real. This view ties into evolutionary psychology, where trust is seen as a survival mechanism. Human brains evolved to detect deception because cooperation required reliability. Sigma males take this to heart. They guard their circles fiercely, ensuring every connection is built on integrity. Once someone breaks that trust, it's almost impossible to regain. That isn't bitterness, it's discipline. It's a recognition that betrayal once tasted can never be forgotten, and that energy spent on second chances often robs focus from purpose. Ultimately, the Sigma male's relationship with truth defines his strength. His silence isn't mysterious arrogance, it's mental hygiene. By filtering out deceit and fake personas, he creates a life of clarity, independence, and self-mastery. In a world where many wear masks, the Sigma's greatest weapon is transparency. He doesn't play games because his mind is his kingdom, and he won't allow lies to invade it. To live in truth is, for him, the purest form of freedom. Number 3, emotional manipulation. He recognizes guilt trips, silent treatment, and emotional blackmail for what they truly are, tools of control. The Sigma male, grounded in self-awareness and emotional intelligence, refuses to be manipulated by these tactics. When someone tries to provoke him through guilt, hoping he'll bend or apologize just to keep the peace, he doesn't take the bait. He understands that guilt is often used as emotional currency by those who can't control him through logic or respect. Instead of reacting impulsively, he observes with calm detachment, seeing the situation for what it is, rather than how it's meant to make him feel. This is not coldness, it's emotional discipline, an ability to stay centered amid manipulation. In psychology, this aligns with the concept of emotional regulation, the conscious control over one's emotional state. People who master this skill tend to maintain clearer thinking and healthier boundaries, while those who don't often fall prey to others' emotional games. The Sigma male's silence in such moments isn't weakness, it's strategy. He understands that engaging with manipulation gives it power. When someone uses the silent treatment to punish him, he doesn't chase. He lets the silence work in his favor. He knows that the one who reacts first often loses control of the situation. By remaining calm and grounded, he shifts the balance of power back to himself. This mindset mirrors Stoic philosophy, especially teachings from thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, who emphasize that no one can truly harm you without your consent, not physically, but emotionally. The Sigma male applies this wisdom in everyday interactions, refusing to let others dictate how he should feel. His real power lies in not reacting, because reaction is a form of surrender. Modern neuroscience supports this idea. When you react emotionally, your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, takes control, clouding rational thought. By staying composed, the Sigma male keeps his prefrontal cortex engaged, allowing logic and reason to lead instead of impulse. This self-mastery makes him appear unshakable, mysterious, and even intimidating to those who rely on manipulation as their weapon. He knows that whoever controls your emotions controls you, and he will never hand that power away. To the world, it might seem like indifference, but in truth, it's wisdom in motion. A deep understanding that peace is not found in control, but in the ability to remain untouched by chaos. Number 4, gossip and negativity. A Sigma male protects his mental space like it's sacred ground because to him it truly is. His mind is his most powerful asset, where his ideas are born, his strategies are crafted, and his peace is maintained. He knows that the quality of his thoughts determines the quality of his life, so he guards them carefully. This is why he avoids gossip, drama, and constant negativity. They're like parasites that feed off emotional energy and cloud mental clarity. Psychologists have long emphasized the impact of emotional contagion, the phenomenon where people absorb the moods and attitudes of those around them. A Sigma male understands this instinctively. He knows that spending too much time around negative, toxic, or shallow conversations can rewire the brain toward cynicism and stress. So, he creates boundaries, not to isolate himself, but to preserve his focus and emotional balance. Instead of wasting his attention on rumors or trivial conflicts, the Sigma male invests it in conversations that nurture his intellect and spirit. He gravitates toward discussions about ideas, self-improvement, philosophy, and purpose. Research in social psychology shows that people who engage in deep, meaningful conversations tend to experience higher levels of life satisfaction and emotional well-being. This aligns perfectly with the Sigma's nature. He's not interested in small talk or surface-level chatter. He seeks substance. When someone speaks with authenticity, he listens intently. But when conversations turn to envy, comparison, or idle speculation, he knows it's time to step away. He does this quietly, without confrontation, because he doesn't need to prove his boundaries. He simply lives by them. What makes him different is that his solitude isn't loneliness. It's self-preservation. He uses quiet moments to recharge, reflect, and refine his mindset. This detachment from unnecessary noise allows him to maintain emotional stability in a chaotic world. Neuroscientists have found that prolonged exposure to negativity activates the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and stress. The Sigma male avoids this mental trap by being selective about what he allows into his consciousness. His environment, both physical and emotional, is designed to promote growth, not distraction. He understands that peace isn't found. It's built, one boundary at a time. And so when someone's energy doesn't elevate his, he doesn't argue or explain. He simply moves elsewhere, leaving behind chaos and walking toward clarity. That is the quiet discipline of a Sigma male, protecting his mind so his purpose remains unshaken. Number 5, lack of accountability. Sigma males have a deep appreciation for accountability, a trait that defines their relationships, leadership, and personal philosophy. They respect people who own their actions, not because they expect perfection, but because honesty builds trust. In a world filled with excuses and deflections, a person who simply says, "Yes, that was my fault," earns a Sigma's respect faster than someone who hides behind justifications. Psychologically, this mindset aligns with the principle of locus of control, a concept in behavioral science that describes whether individuals believe they have control over their lives or blame external forces. Sigma males operate with an internal locus of control. They take responsibility for their outcomes, whether good or bad. That's why they naturally distance themselves from those who habitually make excuses. Such people drain energy and weaken accountability within any relationship or team. To a Sigma, forgiveness and responsibility are not opposites, they coexist. He can forgive mistakes easily because he understands that failure is part of growth. But excuses, that's a different story. Excuses represent a refusal to learn. They mask insecurity and prevent progress. When someone blames the system, their parents, or bad luck, instead of reflecting inward, the Sigma sees it as emotional immaturity. Neuroscience backs this up. When we justify our errors rather than owning them, the brain's anterior cingulate cortex, the region responsible for learning from mistakes, becomes less active. In simple terms, people who never admit fault stop growing. Sigma males recognize this pattern instinctively, which is why they prefer to walk alone rather than surround themselves with those who refuse to evolve. Maturity to the Sigma male isn't measured by age or accomplishments, it's measured by self-awareness. Taking responsibility means facing uncomfortable truths and doing what must be done without needing applause. It's about saying, "This is my life, and I am responsible for what it becomes." This mindset creates strength, discipline, and independence, the very core of the Sigma identity. When someone refuses to own their actions, the Sigma quietly steps back. He doesn't argue or preach. He simply understands they're not yet ready to walk beside him. In a world full of people seeking validation, the Sigma male moves differently. He values truth over comfort, accountability over excuses, and growth over blame. That's what separates him from the crowd, and why his respect is something you can't demand, it's something you earn. Number 6, control or possession. Above all, Sigma males value freedom. It is not just a preference, it is their oxygen, their natural state of being. Unlike others who may find comfort in structure or validation from society, the Sigma male thrives in autonomy. He's a man who lives by his own code, guided not by the approval of others, but by the integrity of his principles. This doesn't mean he is cold or incapable of love, quite the opposite. When a Sigma male loves, he does so with depth, intention, and loyalty. However, his love is never rooted in possession. It's built on respect and trust. He believes that the healthiest relationships are those where both individuals remain free to be themselves, where connection enhances individuality rather than erasing it. From a psychological perspective, this mindset reflects a strong sense of self-determination theory, the belief that humans thrive when they can make choices aligned with their values and autonomy. Sigma males embody this principle effortlessly. Their freedom fuels their creativity, emotional balance, and sense of purpose. They see control not as love, but as manipulation, and any attempt to restrict their individuality triggers an instinctive retreat. To them, a relationship or environment that demands conformity is a cage, and no matter how comfortable it looks, they will never stay in it for long. Historically, many figures who embodied Sigma energy, like Nikola Tesla, Bruce Lee, or even Albert Einstein, shared this uncompromising devotion to independence. They walked paths that others could not understand, often isolating themselves from conventional expectations. Yet that solitude was their power. It allowed them to think, create, and live without the noise of societal pressure. In modern life, this same trait makes Sigma males both intriguing and intimidating. They aren't easily influenced by trends, authority, or peer pressure. They move quietly, but purposefully, choosing freedom over popularity, authenticity over acceptance. They know that real happiness doesn't come from control or dominance. It comes from the peace of being true to oneself. And so, when someone tries to dictate their pace, their thoughts, or their choices, they simply walk away, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Because for the Sigma male, freedom isn't just a lifestyle. It's sacred ground. It's the one thing he will protect at all costs, even if it means standing alone. In the end, Sigma males don't demand perfection from others. They just require peace. And peace comes from discernment, the ability to know what to tolerate and what to release. This mindset is not arrogance, it's emotional intelligence rooted in self-awareness. Psychologically, it reflects a high level of self-regulation, a trait linked to stronger decision-making and lower stress levels. Sigma males understand that constantly engaging with negativity drains mental energy, disrupts focus, and weakens inner stability. So when they walk away, it's not rejection, it's redirection. They're choosing clarity over chaos, solitude over shallow company, and meaning over noise. Walking away doesn't make them cold. It makes them conscious. Because a man who guards his peace guards his power. And that power lies in mastering one's emotions, protecting one's boundaries, and living intentionally in a world addicted to noise.